When the Galactic Union finally made contact with Earth, they expected fear. Every species they had conquered reacted the same way: panic, surrender, negotiations. Humans were supposed to be no different. They were wrong. The Union's war fleet appeared over Earth like a wall of stars. Their message was clear: submit, disarm, and accept protection. On 100 alien worlds, that message had ended resistance within minutes. On Earth, it went viral. Humans didn't scream. They didn't riot. They argued in comment sections, made memes, and argued some more. Then the leaders of Earth sent a reply, not a threat, not a plea. Just one sentence. We're busy. Try again later. The Union commanders were confused. They fired a warning shot at an uninhabited moon. Entire civilizations had surrendered after less. Humans responded by redirecting the debris into raw materials and selling it as alien-grade space metal. When Union troops finally landed, they expected disciplined armies. Instead, they faced farmers, engineers, mechanics, and gamers, people who fixed problems by improvising, adapting, and refusing to panic. Humans didn't fight for glory or conquest. They fought because someone told them what they couldn't do. And humans hated that. Union technology was superior. Human stubbornness was unmatched. When systems failed, humans didn't give up, they duct-taped solutions together and kept going. When commanders fell, someone else stepped up. When the odds looked impossible, humans laughed and said, "Sounds fun." Within weeks, the Union withdrew. In their final report, the alien admiral wrote a warning for all future civilizations. Do not threaten humans. Do not corner them. Do not assume fear will control them. Humans don't fight because they think they'll win. They fight because they refuse to quit. And most terrifying of all, they don't give a single fuck. The Galactic Union thought retreat meant safety. They were wrong again. Human ships didn't chase the fleeing fleet in neat formations. There was no grand strategy, no unified doctrine. Instead, hundreds of different human-built vessels followed, cargo ships retrofitted with cannons, mining rigs turned into battering rams, exploration craft packed with experimental tech that technically wasn't finished. Union sensors struggled to predict them. Humans didn't move like a military. They moved like a problem-solving swarm. When Union commanders tried psychological warfare, broadcasting images of destroyed human cities, Earth responded by rebuilding faster. Humans didn't hide the damage. They streamed it live, turning reconstruction into a global event. Volunteers worked around the clock, joking, arguing, and competing over who could fix things faster. The Union escalated. They deployed a weapon designed to break morale, an energy pulse that induced fear and despair across entire populations. On Earth, it caused anger. Humans didn't collapse. They got louder. Something in the human brain flipped when pushed too far. Fear turned into defiance. Despair turned into resolve. The pulse didn't weaken them, it unified them. Scientists analyzed the attack within hours. Engineers modified civilian tech to counter it. Musicians turned the pulse's frequency into soundtracks. Gamers simulated it. Teachers explained it. Humans owned it. A Union general finally asked the question no one wanted to ask. Why won't they stop? The answer came from a captured human pilot, smiling despite exhaustion. Because you made it personal. The Union realized too late that humans weren't trying to dominate the galaxy. They didn't want revenge. They wanted one simple thing, to never be told again that they didn't belong among the stars. The final Union decree was short. Avoid soul at all costs. Because humans didn't conquer out of ambition. They fought because they didn't give a single fuck, and once provoke. The galaxy listened when the Union issued its warning. Avoid soul at all costs. At first, other species laughed. Every empire exaggerated its defeats. Surely humans were just another aggressive race that got lucky once. Then the trade reports came in. Human ships weren't invading. They were showing up, to disaster zones, border skirmishes, dying colonies. When a star collapsed unexpectedly, humans were already there, pulling survivors out with ships that looked half-broken and fully unstoppable. When pirates attacked trade lanes, human vessels intercepted them, not for profit, but because no one likes bullies. Alien observers were confused. Humans didn't demand territory. They didn't demand tribute. They fixed things, left warnings, and moved on. One species tried to test them. A minor warlord empire seized a neutral station and took civilians hostage, assuming humans would negotiate carefully like everyone else. Humans responded in 12 minutes. Not with overwhelming firepower, but precision chaos. Power was cut. Doors were welded shut. Gravity fluctuated just enough to disorient. Human boarding teams moved fast, calm, almost bored. When it was over, the hostages were free, the warlord fleet disabled, and a single message was left behind. Don't do this again. The galaxy started changing its language. Instead of saying, strong as a Krenth, they began saying, steady like a human. Instead of, unstoppable, they said, human-level stubborn. Union historians quietly updated their records. Humans were not conquerors. They were not saviors either. They were limit breakers. Push them, and they pushed back harder. Threaten others, and humans stepped in. Ignore them, and they were content to mind their own business. An elder alien diplomat finally summarized it best. Humans don't seek control. They seek fairness. But once you cross the line, they don't give a single fuck who you are. And across the stars, one truth settled in. The galaxy was safer now. Not because humans ruled it. But because humans were watching, the first alliance didn't begin with a treaty. It began with a problem. A fringe region of space, ignored by the major powers, was collapsing into chaos. Pirates, rogue fleets, and abandoned weapons from old wars turned trade routes into death traps. No empire wanted the responsibility. Too expensive. Too risky. Humans noticed. Not because it was strategic, but because people were dying. Human envoys didn't arrive in golden ships or with ceremonial guards. They came in mixed crews, humans, rescued aliens, former pirates, engineers, medics. Their proposal to the surrounding systems was simple. We're fixing this. You can help, stay out of the way, or try to stop us. No one tried to stop them. What followed confused every political analyst in the galaxy. Humans didn't put themselves in charge. They built shared command tables. They taught others how to defend themselves. They shared logistics, repairs, and tactics openly, no secrets, no leverage. An alien general asked a human commander why they were giving away advantages. The human shrugged. If everyone's strong, fewer idiots start wars. The alliance grew fast. Not because humans forced it, but because it worked. Crime dropped. Trade stabilized. Worlds that hadn't trusted each other for centuries suddenly had human-built communication hubs linking them together. And whenever arguments threatened to turn violent, humans stepped in, not as rulers, but as referees. Sit down, they'd say. Talk it out. Or we shut this whole thing down. No one doubted they meant it. The Galactic Union watched from a distance, uneasy. They finally understood the real danger of humans. Humans didn't want to dominate the galaxy. They were teaching it how to stand on its own. And once the galaxy learned that, no empire would ever rule it again. Because humans didn't build alliances out of fear. They built them because they didn't give a single fuck about old power. Games, only about what worked. The Galactic Union could no longer ignore the truth. Their spies reported the same thing everywhere. Systems once weak were now stable, defended, and connected. Not under human rule, but under human influence. The old balance of power was collapsing, and the Union's greatest weapon, fear, no longer worked. So they chose one final move. A full delegation arrived at Seoul. Not warships. Diplomats. They demanded negotiations, offering recognition, trade privileges, even seats of authority, anything to bring humans under Union structure. Control didn't have to be violent, they reasoned. It just had to be official. The human response was awkward. No Grand Council Hall. No uniforms. The meeting took place in a plain room with mismatched chairs. Humans showed up late, carrying drinks, arguing quietly about parking or time zones. The Union Supreme Envoy finally spoke. "You have destabilized the galaxy," they accused. "You have undermined centuries of order." A human representative leaned back inside. "Your order only worked because everyone was scared," she said. "We just removed the fear." The envoy warned them of consequences. Economic pressure. Political isolation. Long-term retaliation. The human smiled, not arrogantly, not angrily. Just tired. "You still don't get it," she said. "We're not playing your game." Then came the final statement, the one that would be remembered for generations. "We don't want your approval. We don't want your permission. And we definitely don't want your throne." A pause. "But if you threaten people again, anyone will stop you. Every time." The Union delegation left without agreement. Within a year, half its member systems withdrew voluntarily, joining the human-led cooperative networks instead. The Union didn't fall in a blaze of war. It faded. Historians would later write that the age of empires ended not with conquest, but with humans refusing to be intimidated. Because humans didn't conquer the galaxy. They broke the rules that allowed tyranny to exist. And they did it for one simple reason. They didn't give a single fuck about power. Only about people.